Hello everyone, so there's been a little bit of reaction to a video with Miley Cyrus on the Joe Rogan podcast saying that she's no longer vegan, and one of the things she was saying is that her brain was no longer functioning properly and that she needed more omegas, and I think she said a few things around about that. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I'm guessing it's probably some of the same arguments that we've heard before as to what was happening. I also heard her make a statement that she was doing it right, she was taking all the supplements and all the protein powders, which actually means she was doing it wrong, because if you think there's a deficiency in the vegan diet compared to the standard diet, then you're not really doing it right. You're not thinking about it in the right way, I would say. So it's been quite common over the last few years. It's common that people go away from the vegan diet. There's way more people heading towards it, by far. There's way more people going plant-based, going vegan, than there are people moving away. So it continues to grow as a part of the population. In terms of the trends online of people searching for it, I believe that's all continuing to go up, and everything's heading in the right direction. We're going towards a plant-based vegan type of a world very quickly, very rapidly, and because it's the truth. Like, it's hard to hold back the truth. It's hard to hold back that people feel better when they have oat milk to cow's milk or something. So it's hard to just hold back those basic facts and ideas. But it doesn't stop people from moving back to the conventional diet, and it's not that surprising. People are surrounded by other people who are doing it. So it's very easy to go back. You're surrounded by options. It's very easy to go back. And we always see people that are coming away. It's weird because people always say they went towards the vegan diet for animal ethics. They went away from it because of health issues. And I don't know why they don't talk about their health issues in the first place. Like, a lot of these people pretend they had no problems with eating meat and dairy in the first place, when in reality they experience major improvements on a vegan diet that they don't go on about when they go back to eating the rotting flesh of dead animals. Now, what happens there is a kind of a denial, maybe even just forgetting, but people are basically in denial of what's actually happened. And you have to be in denial to go back to eating dead animal stuff, because if you just jump through the vegan gate for a while and have a look around, you meet loads of healthy vegans, you exercise with loads of healthy vegans, you see vegan doctors providing information about nutrition, you probably read about the nutrition yourself. You know, vegans probably are a bit more educated than the average person when it comes to nutrition. So you understand all of this stuff. So for someone to then say, my brain wasn't working properly, I need more omegas, well, the inference there is that her brain wasn't working because of a lack of omegas in her diet. And she said something like, no matter how many avocados I ate, as if it didn't fix that. Now, for a start, there's no way she had an omega deficiency. There's not a chance. There is not a chance in the world that she had an omega deficiency. What she most likely did was, she wasn't eating enough, because she was trying to stay incredibly skinny, and she was also working out fiendishly on top of that. The pressures of being someone in the spotlight, that's kind of what happens. And that's when it feels like your brain's not working, because you're literally not nourishing yourself enough. And that happens to people that go vegan, and it happens all the time to people that go raw vegan because they think they can live on, very little food. And you can't. You simply can't. You have to consume enough calories. It doesn't matter that you don't like what that looks like. If you put out 2,000 calories of fruits and vegetables, you look at it and go, that looks like a lot of fruit. Like, yeah, but that's what it is. That's what people that are doing this diet are doing. I assure you of that. There's no other secret magic thing. It's less likely that someone on a vegan diet does undereats, but it can happen. And especially if you're trying to lose weight, and especially if you're taking protein powder. What the hell is anyone taking that bullshit for? Honestly, if any of you are taking protein powder, you've got to take it, open the bin, throw it all in the bin. Never think about making that bad mistake again. There's no need to buy that stuff. Total nonsense. It's a waste product. These are waste products of the food industry. They find, especially the whey protein and stuff. These are waste products. Trying to find a way to sell something that has no value. So there you go. Protein powders. I was doing all the supplements. Well, the only supplement you really recommended is B12. That's specifically a vegan related thing. Easy to solve, and it sounds like that wasn't the cause of her brain issue as she was taking all the supplements, so that wouldn't have been an issue really. Although you could have taken all the supplements and not been utilising them, depending on how well you were, so there could have been a problem there. But I think it's unlikely she had B12 deficiency. That would have been very easy to diagnose, and it would have been dealt with pretty quickly. So she had a brain issue, or her brain wasn't working properly, which means to me undereating, stress, emotional problems, not sleeping enough. That's what that means. There's no, your brain's not working because of not enough fat. That doesn't happen. It's the opposite way. You eat too much fat, your brain is slowing down because of all that sludge in your bloodstream. Literally, you take in large quantities of fat, it slows down the flow of your bloodstream. It slows down the flow of oxygen and sugar into your cells, into your brain cells, in order to make your brain function. It slows all that down. Consuming fat, especially saturated fat, over a long period of time causes disease of all the arteries, causes blockages where blood cannot flow in its fullest, where areas of the body start to die off because they are not getting blood. That's what happens when people eat the standard diet. It's why, one of the main reasons I stay away from it. I don't want to go back to it. I don't want to have one piece of any of that stuff. I don't want to create massive disease in my body, as most people do. So most people are not in a state of health, because health means an absence of disease or illness at the basic level, and most people have created disease already. Whether they've really got the fullest of the symptoms yet, maybe not. So Miley Cyrus had a brain issue. Maybe she was eating an incredibly high fat vegan diet. Maybe she was having a lot of oil. Maybe in her quest to get enough fat, she was consuming so much oil and all this other stuff that it was making her feel terrible. Maybe she didn't eat enough fruit. Maybe she didn't eat enough carbohydrates. Maybe she just didn't learn enough about nutrition to understand what was happening to her. So all of these things are the case. And omegas. How do you get enough omegas in a vegan diet? That's impossible, right? You can't. You can't get omegas, you can't get fats. You can't get ALA, EPA, DHA, whatever you want to call them. The non-essential fats that a lot of people that eat animal products think you need to eat animal products for. Well, there's a number of ways of getting enough enough omega-3. Fruits and vegetables. Every fruit and vegetable has omega-3. Every fruit and vegetable, every plant, every leaf, every flower, everything has omega-3. I've not checked everything, but I'm willing to bet it's probably everything. Omega-3. Omega-3 is connected to fish because of marketing by the fish industry. You see, what happened is the fish industry had a great thing where the Catholics told everyone, eat fish on a Friday, or don't eat red meat on a Friday. So people ate fish on a Friday. Then the Pope said, just eat what you want on a Friday. So they had to come up with something to make people think they had to eat fish. And they came up with omega-3. Fish is high in omega-3, sure is, just like human flesh would be high in omega-3. But that doesn't mean it's healthy or something that you should eat, or that it's even a good source of omega-3. To be a good source of omega-3, it's got to be a food that doesn't cause disease and inflammation in the body. So fish fails at that first stage. It's got to be, if it's to be a healthy food, it's got to be a food that fits our natural dietary pattern or anatomy. Fish doesn't fulfill that. We can't catch fish with our bare hands. We don't want to eat wriggling, live, disgusting smelling fish. Fish are full of different worms and different parasites that can cause problems, and there's a big environmental issue impact. But fish is definitely what some people say, not as bad as red meat. It's lower in saturated fat than red meat, okay, but that doesn't make it healthy. It makes it slightly better than red meat. It means if you switch from red meat to fish, you're probably less likely to get overweight and stuff like that, because it's less calories. But it doesn't make it healthy. It doesn't make it healthy whatsoever. And a lot of people say, well, there's these cultures, the Japanese, they eat tiny amounts of fish. Like tiny, tiny amounts. This is not like fish is the reason they're healthy. That's not what it is. They're healthy in spite of eating fish. They're healthy because their diet is a plant-based diet. So, but other ways of getting omega-3, yeah, they're not all fruits and vegetables. If you want to maximize the RDA every day or get a massive amount, why you would want to get a massive amount? There's no need to do that. The RDA is probably artificially set high anyway, higher than it needs to be for sure. But flaxseed is an easy way of getting omega-3, as a lot of you probably know. How do you get enough omega-3 with flaxseed? How much do you need? Massive amounts? No. Like 3 grams or something like that. That's like, you see that quantity there? 3 grams of flaxseed. And just put that in a chronometer or something. Do a daily diet, fruits and vegetables, and add in 3 or 5 grams of flax. It's like nothing, calorie-wise. It's nothing. You get 100% of your omega-3 easily without adding a huge amount of fat into your diet. Omega-6 is weirdly tough on a lot of diets to get, actually, even in animal diets. To meet that 100% RDA, recommended daily allowance, is very strangely difficult. Not really sure what they're doing with that one, but you can hit that with sunflower seeds, certain seeds. Now, I don't think you need to do that if you're a raw vegan. You're eating the healthiest diet, the healthiest foods. I don't think you need to supplement those healthiest foods with seeds. But if you're concerned about getting omega-3, getting omega-6, that's ways that you can be certain that you're getting the recommended daily allowance. I don't think you need to do it, just like I don't think you need to eat a Brazil nut every day for selenium, but it does work. If you want to get 100% of your selenium every day, you could do that. You could have your little flax seeds set out, your sunflower seeds, your Brazil nut, you could have your figs for your calcium, something else for your zinc, your berries, a certain type of berries for your zinc, blackberries, I think. You can do these things, or you can just live and enjoy fruits and vegetables and know that you're not going to come into any of those deficiencies. You're certainly not going to get an omega deficiency. Omega. Who's got a deficiency of fat? Who have you ever met that is deficient in fat? Someone that's extremely underweight? That's the only person. Miley Cyrus wasn't far away from being extremely underweight, potentially. So, I think Dr. Ronnie says prescription, probably under eating, stress, emotional issues. I believe she got divorced as well. Under sleeping, all of these things. All of these things make people go back to eating junk food for comfort, for calories. And you can temporarily feel like, oh, because it's a psychological effect, total psychological effect. People get paranoid that they're not eating enough. They get paranoid that they're not getting enough nutrients. Go on a vegan diet. If they don't get the education, this is and Miley Cyrus, like, she could have went to anyone. Anyone would have said, yeah, come on in. Like one of the most famous women in America or whatever. Any of these vegan doctors would have happily like taken a day off and sat with her and explained everything and went through everything with her and got on the Zoom call with her or whatever. So where's she getting her advice from? As soon as you hear like omega-3 deficiency and messing in my head, I'm like, oh, you went to some naturopath in your hometown. Like you went to someone who got their degree from like udemy.com university or something like that, like who probably sent you some bogus blood test that you did and then said, oh yeah, you've got an allergy to this and this and this, and you're also low in omega-6 and omega-3, so you need to eat meat. Like bullshit, man. Bullshit stuff. Dangerous people with bad advice. So it's another case of someone that's temporarily gone away from the vegan diet, will most likely come back when they realise how much worse they're going to feel when they start to really dive into the standard diet. A lot of you out there have went away from a vegan diet. There's a bunch of you out there. We're waiting for you to come back. The door's open. Come back to like having a healthy life. Like it feels good. Like stop trying to convince yourself that eating inflammatory, disease-causing, hard to digest, like foods, don't you don't have to pretend that that's good for you just to fit in with other people. Like be your like have a bit of a backbone, you know. Have some principle. I'm starting to realise that some people like principles and truth and things aren't particularly important to them. It's like kind of low priority. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. If you've got any comments about the video, feel free to leave them down below. If you've got any suggestions for videos that you'd like me to make, put them down below. In the description, I will put a link to a newsletter if you want to join that. And I'll put a link to a presentation that I created called the 3 biggest mistakes people make on a raw vegan diet. So at least I hope to put that link below. So thank you for watching. Feel free to share this video and I'll see you in the next one.